In the Sumy region, the Russians have started to flee. The Ukrainian armed forces have advanced. There are only a few kilometers left to the Russian town of Tyotkino. Now that's a plot twist. A new push into the Kursk region? Putin's generals are grimacing. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. They're shelling with artillery and throwing sabotage groups into the front-line meat grinder. But on Ukrainian soil, a fierce reckoning awaits them. We'll tell you in the next segment what's happening right now in the place where the occupiers were celebrating just a few weeks ago.
Vasilivka is located right on the border with the Federation. Before the Russian invasion, there were 45 houses and about 100 people there. That's according to local authorities. This is what the village looked like before the full-scale invasion. And this video is from a month ago. The occupiers are moving through the ruined streets. At that time, enemy channels even reported that they had captured this village. If they did, it was only for a short time.
The brave Ukrainian defense forces have successfully carried out several highly effective counterattacks, pushing the enemy forces significantly away from our border area and back toward the Russian border itself.
The defense forces have liberated and completely cleared the settlement of Vasilivka in the Sumy region of Russians, the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine reported on Sunday. This is the work of the 33rd Separate Assault Regiment and the 24th Separate Assault Battalion.
This is not an isolated success. It is the result of those active counterattacks and the hard work of our assault troops. For that they deserve honor and praise, because this is a well-executed operation.
Vasilivka has been liberated, just 5 kilometers from the Russian town of Tyotkino.
Tyotkino, it kind of extends into Strilkivnik, onto the peninsula here, into the territory, let's say, of the Bilopilia community in particular. And it will be divided by the same river. It's quite wide and pretty deep.
In this area, our military is holding an important high ground, says the head of the local community.
They have taken the high ground further on, and in this way, they prevent them from firing en masse from our territory now, specifically from Tyotkino.
In total, 25 settlements in the Bilopilia community have found themselves in the active combat zone. This is the so-called 6-kilometer border zone. Civilians have been evacuated from there. Some villages have been completely destroyed.
The enemy is especially active within the Kotin and Yunakivka communities. I should note, first of all, that there are no signs of armored vehicles or columns of equipment with which they would storm our border. Only small infantry groups.
The Russians shell the local villages with artillery fire almost every day. In addition, there is also a threat from enemy saboteurs.
This includes attempts to mine areas on Ukrainian territory so that Ukrainian soldiers would be blown up by these devices, or reconnaissance of the area in hopes of uncovering the structure of our defenses so that later they can strike with heavier weapons or even attack the positions of Ukrainian defenders with their own forces.
At the same time, Ukrainian units are conducting active operations in several areas at once. In certain areas, the armed forces of Ukraine have advanced up to 400 meters.
Fierce battles for Yevnikivka continue, as do the battles for Oleksivka. And by the way, our troops there are officially located about a kilometer away from this settlement. But nevertheless, they are already penetrating into the territory of this settlement. And I hope, without getting ahead of myself, that in time we will see a somewhat different situation on the battlefield.
Carrying out Putin's order, the Russian army has concentrated more than 50,000 soldiers on the border with the Sumy region. However, while creating the so-called buffer zone, the enemy is failing.
And the actions planned by the military command are aimed at preventing the enemy from gaining a foothold on our territory. And this, of course, applies to all directions along the border.
In the Sumy region, the border with the Russian Federation is 550 kilometers long. According to our border guards, the enemy onslaught along this entire section is being held back by all available means. Rostislav Sisoyev, Ukraine, United News Marathon.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine today. Join us now.
A new hunter has appeared on the front line, our Lynx. Neither bullets, nor mud, nor walls of fire can stop it. It breaks through where others wouldn't survive and completes its missions flawlessly. When Russians see it, their knees start to shake. The true character of Ukrainian steel now has wheels and claws. This ground drone has already shown its teeth. What is it like in the midst of a technological battle? We'll show and tell you in just a moment.
Go ahead. Go! Go. This is Viper on Tracks, a Ukrainian drone operated over difficult terrain by the controller Defender Zorki.
We're learning, as they say.
Previously, instead of a controller, he held a rifle in his hands, with which he destroyed Russian occupiers, but due to health reasons, he transferred to the drone operators of the 65th Brigade.
Before this, I was a second category sniper, so I've got a bit of shooting experience. Not quite 100, but still.
Our company has taken on the direction of ground robotic systems specifically. This is a very important component in the current war.
The unit commander with the call sign Tokyo says they've been working with ground drones since spring. However, there have also been plenty of aerial achievements. And once, Mavic also captured several Russians.
Where are you from?
Originally from the Udmurt Republic.
Well, how long have you been fighting?
Year.
Thank you to the Carpathian Sich unit for taking me prisoner and getting me alive.
Carpathian Sich. We are all connected to this movement. Specifically, our unit.
A 23-year-old from Kharkiv, callsign Tourist, is a JFO veteran since the start of the full-scale war. As a scout, he went through all the hellish battles.
Through Volnovakha, through Vuhledar. He also fought near Bakhmut and Klishchivka. He was on the Avdiivka front as well, and Sudzhi.
But he says he realized that the future of the war lies with drones, so he decided to join the drone operators of the ground platforms of the 65th Brigade.
I heard that a pretty competent team was being assembled with the goal of striking the enemy and improving logistics routes.
Supplying all directions with provisions, primarily for the infantry. We also conduct mining operations. Right now, we're developing ground drone strike capabilities.
This is the RIS.
24-year-old Kharkiv native Toronto says this Ukrainian RIS, which is currently used as a transport vehicle on the front line, is the very platform that can be upgraded for combat.
This base is being outfitted for a turret. You can install some kind of weapon here.
Currently, the soldiers of the 65th Brigade, who supply the front line with the essentials, have announced a fundraiser for strike drones, which they also operate. So they are asking those who care to contribute. Andriy Pochter, Yevhen Zhinkov, Fakti ICTV, United News.
Ukrainian weaponry has stunned the world. When our people send this bird into the sky, the countdown begins for the enemy. The combat Lyleka sees absolutely everything. Every frame from above is a clue for Ukrainian forces, and right after it, devastating strikes. Ukrainian defenders show no mercy to the enemy and deliver a beating literally every hour. These accomplished missions have already gone down in history. Don't miss it.
In one of the frontline forests, the crew is preparing the Lyleka drone for a combat flight. The mission is to detect and destroy enemy equipment.
It's easiest when it fires. It gives itself away right away, so you don't really have to overthink it. You find it almost immediately. In the courtyards, there was just a little tank or something, just sitting in the yard of a house, covered up like trash. From the outside, it just looked like a pile of garbage.
That's how the enemy camouflages artillery, tanks and mortars. The ability to identify a target in time is the main goal of aerial reconnaissance.
We found and hit APCs, tanks, mortars there. We've chased after all sorts of things. You fly high, you see far. What do you see?
Actually, we can see their tactics quite well. That is, they already have a developed tactic.
The scouts observe how the enemy delivers ammunition by motorcycles and enters the forest in small groups. The gathered information is relayed to strike units within just a few minutes. A few years ago, the soldier with the call sign Lys worked as a foot scout. Now he is a drone operator. He started with Mavics, completed FPV training, and later switched to Lyleka for deeper reconnaissance.
First of all, for me, let's say it's a challenge. That is, you don't just need to fly around aimlessly and watch. You have to analyze the enemy's actions, track them somewhere. For example, sometimes a vehicle might not seem interesting, but that vehicle is going somewhere. You need to figure out where it's going.
Aerial reconnaissance also means navigating difficult terrain, reacting instantly if communication is lost, and being ready for any scenario. Despite the danger, the work is satisfying, and the team is already thinking about new opportunities.
At one particular point in time, we really wanted to switch to using boats.
Yeah, to water drones.
To water drones. It's actually a really quite interesting and engaging topic, especially when you watch all those truly cool and innovative videos from higher-ups within the organization. There's definitely significant room to experiment and explore new possibilities there.
Every flight of the Lyleka is a chance to save our soldiers' lives and disrupt the enemy's plans before they even open fire. Yuri Lozenko, Vitaly Bakumenko, Army TV, Dniemy Ukraina, Marathon, United News.